So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk you through setting up your account through the test software. And so one of your first assignments that I have showing here is that you are to work a problem after getting all set up in test. And so if you take a look at this particular problem, you see that I have attached a document file, and that document file has your specific code identified with your name that you'll be able to use, and I'll show you that in a second. And also, as you go into the software itself, you will then be needing to sign up for our class, and I'll show you again how to do that. The class itself is identified by my email address as well as the ME 4210 fall of 20. And so as you log into the test program, it's www.thermalfluids.net. It's also, as you can see here, this Energy San Diego State University.edu test home. And so I recommend that you go into this particular site. Upon going into this site, you will then need to, the first time through, you'll come in as a guest, and you'll need to click on create an account. And so when you create an account, you'll put in your email address. This does not have to be your Indiana Tech address. It just needs to be a valid email address. Your name, your first and last name, your title will just be student. And you will select that you heard about this from your professor, and then you create your test account, and then within about a minute or so you should get an email to that email address that will then to direct you further. So once you do that, then you'll come back and you will, I'm going to log out of this. Oops, let's see here. And let's see, I want to go out. I want to go back to the main screen, and I think I can do that by going back to the home screen. Okay, so you'll come back in as the guest mode, but this time you'll then put in your login ID. Okay, I have a login ID that I'm going to use. It's just another Gmail address of mine, and I'm going to put in my password. And you'll see that when I come in here, there is a license alert due to the fact that I need to update my license information for me. I'm actually called Mr. Gmail there. And so you'll get to this point logging in, and it will say, greetings, student. And it will also tell you how much time you have left on your license. You'll have a full year of the license. The next step then is to go into the area that says My Account. Okay, and so when you go into this area, and I have my password stored in here, and I log into My Account, it shows the information about yourself. You could change your name if you want to. But then the license key is where you need to grab the license key that I've sent you. Now, I'm going to go to that. I have that currently opened up out of Word. And you'll see that for each student, you're by your last name, and there's a couple of the same last names. You should then select this identifying license. Okay, so don't select your name, just identify the multi ASCII number, the alphanumeric coding. And so I'm going to copy that to my clipboard. I can then put that away, and that's then what I'm going to copy into or paste into there for the group license. And so after doing that, I just do an just update the profile, and it should be in now. So it should be in. And so I then am going to exit out of this. I believe I should be good to go. I'm going to log out from my account. I'm then going to go back in. I'm going to make it bigger here. I made it, okay, 125. Okay, I'm going to go back in, log back in. And now, as I log back in, now you should see that, okay, so it's licensed me for 40 days. Now, I think I put in the wrong password. Okay, hold on a second. I need to go back, log out of this. And I had the wrong, it defaulted to my actual address, my Indiana Tech address. And so this is where I put in John P. Reaney at gmail.com. And then my password here, I'm going to put that in. And I log in. I don't want to save that. Okay, so now upon doing that, I've now put in my license code for Mr. Gmail. That's me. That was the 25th license code for our class. So don't select that one. And that license is valid for another 366 days as a student. And so now you're in the academic mode as opposed to a guest mode. Okay, so this gives you, because we bought the license for the students, this gives you access to more thermodynamic fluids, and so gives you the possibility of doing more problems than just what the guest mode would allow you. Now, the next step, the final step then, is going into this problems tab. And in this problems tab, you'll see, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but all of the chapters associated with the book, all the different areas, each one of these chapters then has a whole series of problems. And you'll be asked to perform certain problems. And in fact, the problem that we're going to do for this one is problem 4153 ORS. And so if I go into this chapter 4, and you can see you can actually sort by 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4. We're going to be doing a single flow. This is out of chapter 4, and it's all the problems. Okay, and so I can go down to problem 4153. And 4153 is here. It also has an identifier as ORS. Each problem has a 3-letter identifier. You'll notice that there's special symbols that are provided for the various problems. The key corresponds to key problems. And so if I would have gone in and just said, just show me the key problems, they would then, what would pop up then are the number of problems associated with what they refer to as the key problems. And so these are the problems that at a minimum you should try to work. And we'll talk more about that later. But again, this particular problem is the one that we're going to work on the next video. You can also look at example problems. You can look at challenge problems, extra credit problems, and so on. The example problems actually will give you the coding necessary to actually perform the problem. And so if I went to an example problem, it has this little icon here. And if you wanted to see how that was done, you actually see that the answers are given. You could go to the unrestricted solution and it will give you the coding that you need to put into the software, as well as what test app you need to open up to put that coding in to solve the problem. So plenty of examples to work from. Okay, so what we need to do, or what you need to do, is at the bottom of this page, when I go back to problems, at the bottom of the page, you have to join our group. And so in order to join the group, I'm going to go back to my assignment, and I'm going to grab this yellow, that's me, my email address. I'm going to copy that, and it's my email address along with the ME 4210 Fall 20. And I go back to the test, and I now pop that in there. I paste that into there, and I join the group. And so when I join the group, it now says that this particular Gmail user is now a member of this ME 4210 Fall of 20s group. Now you'll see that I'm also a member of a group that I generated a while back. But this is what you will see, is you will then be in an active group subscribed by you, and it will be this one here. Now, what this allows me to do then is when you solve the problems, I then can go and I can get an update. I can get a listing of who solved the problem correctly, how many attempts, and the like. So you'll need to do this in order to get into our group. Like I said, one of the problems, chapter 4, it was a key problem, number 53. It was ORS. This also allows you to click on the key. And what this does is this is then where you put your answer. And so you will have to solve the problem, and after solving the problem, you'll then put in your answers for the two parts of the problem, A and B, and they will give the units and the weighting, and then you say grade my answer, and it will determine whether or not you got it right. It will also tell you how many times you've attempted it and what, whether or not you've gotten it correct. And you can also get some more information, and it will give you some hints as to how to go about what to look into if you are having some issues with that particular problem. And so just make sure you log out when you get done, and we're ready then to continue on solving that problem in the next video. So with that, I'm going to stop. I'm going to quit the recording.